Thanks for showing up today. I'm going to go over a couple quick tips setting up your Pyscho Brew system. Some parts will come non-assembled, shipped separately. First is control panel. One simple bolt, and you'll have a few wires on the cart. First one's your control connection to all the electronic valves. Simple pin connector, definite placement. Bottom, fit right in and screw tight. You've got your two power cords for the two pumps. There's outlets in the bottom of the control panel. Last is a chiller assembly. Bolts in place. Now the loose parts are intact. After that, time to put kettles on. Last piece of installation is the temperature sensors for each tank. There will be a hole in the top of the lid. When you place these inside, make sure they go through the hole inside the top of the lid. Corresponds to a plug inside the panel. Each tank has its own temperature sensor. Labeled 1 goes with tank 1. Last piece of installation. Put the electrical up here on the holders. Now for some of the technical aspects of the controller for startup, to alleviate some of your nuisance problems. First of all is you want to plug it into a 120 volt grounded circuit, GFI preferably. 3-prong has to have a ground plug, and the cord itself also has to have a ground wire. This is important for flame rectification, for improving flame for the burners, and also for GFI circuits inside the panel. After you're hooked up, you've got a main power switch which kills power to the whole panel. Flip that on. Green light, you're ready to go. Now each controller also has power. Each individual power switch here powers up the controller. Second switch also powers up that controller. You'll get some numbers on initial startup. And what that is the controller already starting to think and process your temperatures. The top number is your actual temperature reading from this thermistor inside the tank. The other one is your set point. At this time, once you're ready to go, you've got a button that says heat, and that is to enable the burner. Flip that switch on, you'll have a short pause, and you'll hear some clicking. That's the igniter trying to light. One important feature of the controller is the auto tune button. When you turn this on, the controller will actually turn the burner on and off by itself, and it will learn the characteristics of how long it takes to get that temperature and shut it off automatically to try and prevent overshooting. So in order to do that, the AT button, hit that, you've got an off display. You want to turn that to a flashing green, on. Hit the enter button again. Your auto tune is on. From this point, the controller will take over. All you have to do is sit back and watch. If for some reason you desire a different temperature, simply hit the arrow button up on the temperature displayed and enter, and that's the temperature it'll try and control to. The logic inside the controller will learn the characteristics of what you're doing, so that if tomorrow you come back and turn it back on, it will replicate the same procedure you did today. And if you change that temperature, you have to go back in and turn auto tune back on, and then it will learn that temperature also. So you can flip between 2 or 3 or 4 different temperatures and it'll remember it all. You have 2 power switches for the pumps. Each pump is labeled, pump 1, pump 2. They correspond to the correct tank. Flipping this pump on, you need to make sure you have liquid inside of it. You cannot run the pump dry or burn out the seals. And once the pump is on, it's on until you turn the switch off. If for some reason you have a controller not function, or you have a burner not light, it doesn't appear to be getting power, there are breakers inside the panel for low voltage. You have 2 voltages inside here. You have 120 volt that's supplied by the cord, and then you also have a transformer to power up low voltage, 24 volt, to power up the gas valves and ignition modules. Before opening this cabinet, it's highly recommended and advised to turn power off, unplug the cord, open the panel. Inside the panel, you'll see the back of the controllers, the switches. You have a main breaker here, and you also have a resettable breaker on the transformer. If for some reason this control transformer breaker should trip, the button will pop up just about that far. It's hard to tell, but what you do is you push it down, it would snap, power would come back on to the ignition modules. The most common fault for that is getting the low voltage circuit wet. If you spill something from a tank, washing it down, typically with power on, is what would cause that. Another part of crucial hookup, and to be technical, is your gas supply. The equipment comes with a cap on one end and open fitting on the other to hook a gas valve up and to your building supply. This can be reversed by taking the cap off and flipping it to the other side. It is important that you meet all mechanical codes in your installation, including gas pipe sizing and proper supply pressure. Propane requires a minimum of 10 inches of water column, no more than 13.5. Natural gas, a minimum of 7 inches of water column, no more than 13.5. At this point, what you'll do to start your cart is the end burner has a manual valve in the front. Open that until you smell just a hint of gas. Once that burner lights, you know your manifold has been purged of all air. After this, now it's time to light the main electronic valves. Keep in mind there will be some purge time, as the pilot tubes have to purge themselves from air. There's a 90-second trial time for ignition. So when you turn the heat switch on, there'll be a short delay. You'll hear a spark. Flame will be proven, and then main flame. Same with the other burner.